We have a slight change in the order of the presenters, and we'll have now Dr. César Hernández. Dr. Hernández is a rheumatologist, but has been working at the Spanish drug agency. He led the human products group for a long while, and a couple of years ago, he became the director of the drug policy or drug group at the Ministry of Health. And it is a pleasure to welcome you back and to see you. And yep, I will look forward to your comments. Thank you very much, Dr. Hernández.
Thank you very much, Oriol, and good afternoon to everyone. I hope that you can hear me well, right?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. It's only 1 year in this new position. Looks like 2, but it's only 1 year. Okay, I'm going to share my presentation. So today I'm speaking as a policymaker or decision maker so the one who has to receive the product of the HTA regulation. Okay, what are the challenges that we face from the point of view of the administration, of the decision maker? Well, we need to acknowledge that we are witnessing the exponential growth of science and technology without time to assess and be aware of the impact of a given advance. We have to be prepared to incorporate the next. So that shorts very much the time that you have to assess and the time to take a decision. Second, we are also subjected to an increasing pressure.
Sorry, César. We can see the PowerPoint correctly.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let me. You cannot see it? No.
Can everyone see the screens? So maybe we can continue like this. Is it okay if we continue like this?
Yeah, for me it's okay.
Okay.
Let me.
Thank you.
Make last try. Can you see it right now? No. Okay. I will continue. Then.
Now, yeah, fantastic.
You can see it. I think it's only for a while because I stopped sharing. But anyway, we are subjected to an increasing pressure for early access. So for the general population and public opinion, it is not acceptable that there is a delay in the access to treatment that has been approved or that has been even funded in other countries. I think that the good news is that we have the growing possibility of data-driven decision making, but we are approaching this paradigm, but we are still a little bit far of exploiting all the opportunities that data analysis can give us. We need to balance the uncertainty that is inherent to the early access with the loss of opportunity due to delayed access, and in order to shorten the delay or the time frame until a patient can get access to a medicine. I mean, one of the risks is that we make the process unmanageable and too complicated for decision makers and those who evaluate the products. We also are under pressure of demographics, and I think that it's important to know that we have a risk of center on medicines. I mean, even when we speak about HTA, that covers, as Royce has explained, both medical devices and medicines, we end up talking about medicines, and this is a risk that we need to avoid because, managing cancer, and I think that you are not Okay. Well, managing cancer is not only treatment with medicines. We have cancer prevention, we have early diagnosis, we have cancer screening, we have, it has been mentioned already, accurate and personalized diagnosis with encompass digital pathology and imaging, generalized access to gene sequencing, and so on. We have for sure to have the right treatment. Again, it's not only medicines for some tumors at least. We have radiation, surgery, and a lot of different medicine possibilities. But we also need to ensure adequate monitoring of patients and give patient support. And all these actions that we need to address from a policy perspective in order to address the challenge of cancer compete for the same budget. I mean, in the end, the budget of the health budget, the box of the provision of health services, is a box that has margins and it's not. It should be larger or smaller, but it's not. But it's not infinite. So it's composed by the how much patients do we have for a treatment, how many, sorry, how much I pay, how many patients I have to treat, and what are the health benefits that we put into this box. And all these contexts should be for the countries, for the governments, for the member states, should be affordable and should be sustainable. That means that the decisions that we take today regarding one medicine should not put in risk the possibility to incorporate new medicines in the future. Sorry. So 5 points regarding access to medicines in oncology specifically, but on the right-hand side, you can see a panel. In the top one, you see how the price of medicines moves along the time. I mean, we have an unvariable high price in the beginning, higher and higher anytime. Very small competition for many years. Then we have generics and biosimilars, and we stress the competition. But sometimes, at a certain point, due to the price systems, the number of products that with a given active substance is limited, and we face the issue of shortages or difficulties in supplying some medicines. If you plot the knowledge the knowledge that you have a long time, the knowledge is growing. So one of the, consequences of this graph is that we pay a high price when we do not know, I wouldn't say anything, but we don't know too much about the medicine, and then we drop the price until a level that put in risk the product when we know about the product. And we need to change a little bit that, so the knowledge and the price is, I wouldn't say exactly the same or following the same line, but trying to not to be completely separate on that. What are the challenges that we are facing? I mean, smaller patient populations, but with the same price. I mean, the issues with the same money that you treated thousands of people, now you treat maybe dozens of people. Niche tumors, narrower stratification due to the fact that we have the possibility with the biomarkers to stratify these populations. We have shorter product life cycles, but this, I would say that does not have too much impact in competition. And we have many products that are in the same niche, but with not too much competition. Okay, you are managing the slides. Good. Third point is that we have difficulties to address combination therapies or second indication. This is, I mean, the way this medicines enter the market is a high price for a very small indication, and then, you know, expand until, you know, many indications, and sometimes in combination with products that are not from the same company. So you have to negotiate separately with two companies to approve one indication. Issues with the production and access to ATMPs, and we need to solve this because ATMPs are going to be more and more frequent in the next future. And I think that we need to break silos between what is the development, so the research, development, regulatory barriers, pricing, and the system that also the health system barriers that may also exist in each and any country. The next one is my last one is 4 take-home messages. First is that tackling cancer care challenges requires an holistic and integrated view that covers different actions from prevention to diagnosis, treatment, but also ensuring the adequate follow-up of patients, and also to integrate the clinical research and the clinical practice. To be honest, access is a continuous, access to medicines, for example, is a continuous from clinical trials to clinical practice. And we need to have a holistic view covering all these time points during the life cycle of medicines. Second, I think I'm pretty sure that data analytics can be a game changer, promoting a shift in value-based decision. But my feeling is that we have still work ahead to take advantages of all its possibilities. Third, we have a problem because we have problems to access new expensive medicines with some uncertainty remaining. But also we have problems to access all medicines with well-established indications. And these are the two sides of the same problem, that is a pharmaceutical system that is completely unbalanced, and we need to rebalance the system in order to make possible that the future is sustainable. And I think, and this is my last point, I think that we need, we have the regulatory cooperation in Europe. I mean, not cooperation, not only cooperation. We have a single system for our regulatory system in Europe. Roisin has explained we are moving to at least for the clinical part, a European system for HTA. But I regret to say that this probably will be not enough if we do not move more towards an EU strategic cooperation, including the national competencies, to give us a stronger capacity in providing affordable access to both new and all medicines. We did this for vaccines during the pandemic. I think that we need to explore how to do it in other settings without a health crisis like the pandemic, but in more everyday access to the medicines. And cancer, orphan medicines are probably a good sandbox to test this strategic cooperation. And that's all from my side. Thank you.
César, and because César has to leave, then we said we allow for 2 or 3 short questions before we continue with the next speaker. If there are any urgent questions, you may raise your hand in the panel. Yes, please. Yeah, to him, to César. Okay. Perhaps I have an initial question, César, because the commissioner of the DG Santé of the European Commission She said when this regulation was introduced that this should really help to further establish the European Health Union. I think this was a language that she has chosen. What is your view on this one as a representative of the Spanish Ministry of Health?
We are very much supportive of the idea of progressing in the idea that we need more EU health and EU cooperation. We had the experience during the pandemic with we had negative experiences with medical devices at the beginning and difficulties to really address the problems that we had in Europe. And then we had the experience with the vaccines that I can understand that may have critics, but I think that it was a successful history because in the end, and it was important, each and any country had the same access to the same vaccines at the same time. And I think that this is what is expected from our citizens of the EU to make it easier. I think that also from the point of view of negotiations, it is not the same to negotiate with a company on behalf of 47 million people or on behalf of 450 million people. And we need to see whether we can combine more decentralized models with maybe, and this is a personal opinion, more centralized models in some specific medicines or circumstances.
I may also have a question. You talk about the, let's say, unbalanced pharmaceutical system, and I think we've quite often talked about EMA. What, if any, would be your recommendation for HTA thinkers on what are the things that should be put on the table so that it is more balanced? So I'm not talking about EMA, I'm not talking about pharmaceuticals. What should be done from an HTA national and cooperative way to rebalance that equation, if anything?
Well, what I would expect from HTA is that they provide quality information and timely information for decision makers. And I think that they are on the way to do it. And I very much appreciate the work that is being done so far with the HTA. I regret to say, however, that we need to probably address a few things that cannot be addressed by the EMA or the HTA coordination group that are under the competences of the national competent authorities or the price and reimbursement authorities. And that's why I think that we need to break silos and to make a system that is more aligned in the way that it addresses. When I talk about unbalance, I was talking about the paradox that we have problems to access new medicines that are very expensive, but also problems to access all medicines that are, very cheap and probably has lost the commercial interest for many companies. We need to look for different models to buy or to purchase that medicines, so we can provide the incentive to continue to produce these medicines, and that this do not was a factor that can make the system to be more unbalanced. It is not easy. I have to recognize it, but we need to address it, because on the other hand, we won't be able to guarantee that we are going to have a sustainable system for the future.
Are there any further questions in the room? I have perhaps one last question then. I don't know if I put you too much on the spot. Perhaps it's too technical, then of course reject. But a question that is always coming up, what exactly is the delta between assessment and appraisal? Where are the limitations of one and where does the other start? Is there any kind, it will be also different from country to country. So a large country with an established HTA system will look at this one different than a small country, for example, in Eastern Europe without an established HTA system. So what is your view from a ministry point of view on this delta? I hope it's not too technical, but I just wanted to raise it.
Well, I think that I'm not going to answer that question from the technical point of view. I think that we sometimes in Europe are naming the same thing with different names. And on the other hand, we are using the same name for different things. And we need to also address this. From my point of view, it is different decision making. I wouldn't say appraisal, because appraisal for some for many people is part of the HTA, also for part of the HTA or the final consequence of the HTA. And I'm talking about decision, and decision should take into account, you know, the economy, the social expectancies, the you know, sometimes industrial aspects, and also health aspects, and it's maybe different from member states to other member states. What is not different from member states to other member states is what is the clinical trial, what is the result of the clinical trial, what is the PICO. I mean, I have heard Tristan say that we will have many PICO questions, but I'm sure that we will converge in a smaller number of PICO questions as we, you know, have the system ongoing. But it is more difficult that in the end we have, you know, the same political decisions in all the countries, because countries may differ in many things, like you know, the not only the willingness to pay, but the economic possibility to pay, or and that may possibility that the solutions that from a political perspective can be put on the table would be different in different member states. But you know, in order not to avoid your question, I think that appraisal or decision making, I mean, is different than assessment, definitely.
Thanks very much, and applause again to.
And apologies for not staying for the whole meeting.